I have picked a well-written article in the Los Angeles Times by David Walton. The article is on my former teammate Ronnie Aguilar, from former teammate from California State Dominguez Hills, current rookie for the Los Angeles Lakers right now, trying to earn a training camp roster spot. And this is a well-written article because it describes his struggles to even make the team. And yeah, it was published October 18th, 2012. So earlier this week, it was on. It was great insight on his life and what his job is going to be and how hard he even has to work to even get court time. And it's a well-written article, and I'm going to read it for you. The Lakers had just finished their first practice of the season, and one by one, all the big names disappeared into the locker room. Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, even Kobe Bryant, who ranks amongst the hardest workers in the game. One man remained on the court after they had gone, his body stretching to a perilous 7'1", his long-framed face by black hair and a beard. Ronnie Aguilar shot at a steady progression of jump hooks. When that has finished, he asked a trainer to run him through footwork drills that looked like something out of Riverdance. "I'm just doing my job," Aguilar said. "I wanted to show these guys that I belong." The 25-year-old center from California State Dominguez Hills has arrived at the team's training facility with the intention of earning a spot on the roster, he said. "I know how hard I've worked to get here." But his chances appeared slim from the start. Passed over in the NBA draft, he spent the previous year playing in minor league ball and working out on his own, schools, city parks, wherever, in hopes of being noticed. 3 weeks ago, the Lakers signed him to a short-term contract as a training camp invitee. That was a polite term for it. Aguilar and his peers is known as a camp fodder. From the first day at camp, Aguilar showed up early to stretch, lift weights, and shoe on his own. Preparing his body was the only part of the challenge. The new guys had to learn plays and terminology used by the team that plans to run a version of the complex Princeton offense this season. The first few days, they threw a lot of things at the rookies, Aguilar said. "We were like, wow, NBA teams carry a maximum of 15 players during the regular season. That is not enough to fill out a month of preseason drills in two-a-day sessions. General managers bring in extra bodies to serve as opponents in practice, saying wear and tear on the top starters and reserves. These invitees tend to be younger and eager," as Lakers coach assistant Darvin Ham explained. "There is no one hungrier than a man who needs a job." Coach Mike Brown occasionally pulled Aguilar aside to explain in the finer points, wanting him to pick up little things here and there to make his game better in the long run. By the week's end, the rookie found himself toe-to-toe with Dwight Howard. During one drill, he slid across the lane and stole a lob pass from Steve Nash. Other times, he drifted out of position or rushed his shot. There were scrimmages where he lingered on the sideline with the rest of the invitees, including former UCLA star Reeves Nelson, watching all the veterans get the court time. Another big rookie, Robert Sacre, fared to be significantly better. The second-round pick gradually earned more minutes by impressing the coaches with his consistent play. "I try not to worry about it," Aguilar said. "I'm just doing what they ask." It helped when former Laker veteran Pau Gasol gave him advice, and fellow invitees often advise him as well. Aguilar stays late after every single practice and works hard in his post moves. And when he's done without a car, Aguilar walks to his hotel down the street and just only has enough time to sleep and eat. And then the next day starts on his own regular routine. I found this article to be a well-written article because it shows how hard someone even has to work to even get on the court to even be a part of the Lakers. And what makes this article well-written to me, because I personally know Ronnie, and I know the struggles that he has to go through to even make it to this point. By him even being on the Lakers is an amazing accomplishment. And I think David Walton, Los Angeles Times, did a great job of showing insight on the different drills they do in practice and insight on his consistent play and his hard work for him to stay after practice to even work to even make the team. And I think that by this article being published about Ronnie, even if he doesn't make the Lakers, a lot of people read the Los Angeles Times, and a general manager of teams and other teams are going to read this and say, we need a guy like this that works hard and will be willing to give him a shot because of this well-written article about Ronnie. And I think it's just even amazing for him to even be in this position, and it's crazy. And I think that is a well-written article. Another reason why it's a well-written article because it shows the different quotes that Ronnie made about how he wants to show these guys that he belongs, and how things aren't bothering him if other guys are getting playing time, because it shows insight on what he's really doing and really his personal opinion on things, and him just being hungry to even make the team. And I think it's a well-written article. The poorly written article that I selected was by John Walsh of ESPN.com. It is about the NFL lockout. And basically, it has slanderous terms. It shows a lot of incorrect grammar, and it was just a bad article. And I'm gonna read the bad article first, and then from there I'm gonna show the adjustments that I had made, the corrections that I had made to the article. Okay, here's the bad written article first. It has been a month on an arduous path the NFL and its players have traveled these past 4 months. It has been at times ugly, unnerving, nasty, and unsettling. Labor disputes always are, and this one has been no exception. Both sides took hits, and neither will walk away unscathed now that they are finally agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement that the NFL Players Association had to decertify, that the owners had to lock out the players, that they had to be a halt to the league's business was just silly when everyone was making money over fist. The league was not healthy, not broken. This dispute was not about greed, plain and simple. It was about putting the best product on the field or playing for the love of the game. It was not about money and how much everyone got. Of course, the answer is that the players and the owners will continue to print money. The television contracts will only get larger, the fans' interest will grow, the stadiums will continue to be packed, most of them, and the merchandise will continue to fly off shelves. The NFL is a $9.3 billion business today. Who knows? Who knows what will it be in 2020, but it will not be less. It will be more, potentially much more. So there had to be a way the two sides could have come to an agreement. There had to be football in 2012, and ultimately now there will be. As we prepare to discuss the football and free agency of trades and training camps, it is worth a look at the winners and losers of the past 4 months. Yeah, as you can see, it was extremely difficult for me to even read this article because it was poorly written. It wasn't edited. It just looked like, and it was actually on the front page of ESPN.com. So, yeah, it was really bad, and I don't know who wrote this, but John did a terrible job of bad grammar, just run-on sentences, incomplete thoughts. It really didn't show what he was even trying to get to the point of the NFL lockout, and about he switches from the NFL lockout to how much the NFL is worth. He jumps from idea to idea, and it's just a bad written article. Okay, the correction that I've made is that it has been a month on an arduous path the NFL and its players have traveled these past 4 months. It has been at times ugly, unnerving, and unsettling. Instead of he put unnerving, nasty, and unsettling. I just took the nasty out and just put unnerving and unsettling. Labor disputes always are. Period. That's all I did. I just put period and cut off, and this one has been no exception. I took that sentence out because it was clearly a run-on, and yeah, it wasn't. I just ended it at that. And I put either side will walk away unscathed now that they have finally agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement. I took both sides took hits, and neither side, I took that out and just said neither will be unscathed. Just put neither, because we know both sides. That the NFL Players and Association had to decertify that the owners had to lock out the players, that they were trying to halt the league business was just when everyone was making money. He put that there was just a halt league business, just silly, needless. So I took out just silly and put needless in there and put business was needless when everyone was making money, and then period. Instead of put hand over fist, I took that part out. The league was not healthy, not broken. This dispute was not about greed, plain and simple. It was about putting the best product on the field for the love of the game, period. And then he added another sentence after that, after the love of the game. It was about money and how much everyone got. I took that part out. That was an incomplete idea, and grammar was terrible. And yeah, I took that part out. Of course, the players and owners will continue to print money. I've corrected that as a correct sentence. I put that as a correct sentence, but he put, of course, the answer is that the players and the owners will continue to print money. I put, of course, the players and owners will continue to print money. Television contracts will get larger. Fan interest will grow. Stadiums will continue to be packed, most of them, and the merchandise will continue to fly off the shelves. That is correct. That is what I've corrected. He wrote the television contracts will get larger. The fan interest will only grow. The stadiums will continue to be packed, most of them, and the merchandise. He put the in front of everyone. I just took out the and put periods after every thought. I didn't just put parentheses like he did and just run on rambling thoughts. So 3-4 lines of not a period. So I put television contracts will only get larger. Fan interest will grow. The stadiums will continue to be packed, and merchandise will continue to fly off the shelves. The NFL is a $9.3 billion business today. Period. He put, after $9.3 billion today, who knows what it'll be in 2012, but it will not be less. We don't need that in here, in this article. So who knows what will it be in 2012. That's not a good idea to put. So I took that out of this article. It will even be more profitable in 2020. That's what I wrote. It will be more profitable in 2020, potentially much more. So there will be a way two sides will come to agreement. There had to be football in 2011. And now there will be. And he put, and ultimately now there will be. You don't have to put ultimately. You all have to put, and now there will be. And he wrote as a last idea, as we prepare to finally discuss the winners of football, free agency, trades, and training camp, it is worth. And here's a look at the winners and losers of the past 4 months. I took, as we prepare to finally discuss football, free agency, trades, and training camp, it is worth. And here's a look. I took that part out and just put, here's a look at the winners and losers of the past 4 months of what happened with the lockout, and they have a list of teams and the charts and everything. So this is the article that I've chosen as a poorly written article that I had to really sit down and read and edit, and it was difficult reading it at first. So that's what I corrected, and I'm going to read it one more time with my corrections, and so you'll see how much smoother it goes, and I described, and yeah. Okay. It has been an arduous path that the NFL and its players have traveled during these past 4 months. It has been, at times, ugly, unnerving, and unsettling. Labor disputes always are. Neither side will walk away unscathed, and now they have both finally agreed to a collective bargaining agreement. That the players and association had to decertify, that the owners had to lock out the players, that there had to be a halt to league business was just needless when everyone was making money. The league was not healthy. The league was healthy, not broken. This dispute was about greed, plain and simple. It was about putting the best. It was not about putting the best product on the field or playing for the love of the game. Of course, the players, owners will continue to print money. Television contracts will get larger. Fan interest will grow. Stadiums will continue to be packed, most of them, and merchandise will continue to fly off the shelves. The NFL is worth about $9.3 billion today. It will even be more profitable in 2020, potentially much more. So there had to be a way two sides could come to an agreement. There had to be football in 2011, and now there will be. Now here's a look at the winners and losers of the past 4 months. See how ultimately that flowed and that view was just how smooth that was. So that's what I've come up with the